Welcome to Tone's Crib. It is February, whenever the hell. I don't know what today's date is.
19.
18th. Oh, Love. They put up
19.
Love. The Judd Apatow show on Netflix today.
The
Check
Judd
it out.
Apatow show?
Yeah.
Judd
It's
Apatow show?
Apatow. Yeah, it's a show called Love. It's about a relationship, and every episode is like a different part of the relationship. Like one episode is when they meet, and another episode will be like when they first get together or when they first have a date.
It follows
like
as
that.
one couple or different
One couple.
couples? Oh, it follows a different couple.
One
One couple through
One
different
couple.
stages and
of a
shit.
relationship.
Okay.
Yeah,
On
it's
Netflix?
like it's like one of his movies, but basically spread out over like a whole season of shows.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. The 18th, I'm gonna have to remember that
Judd
to watch
Apatow.
that.
On the
That's-
what? You said 8 what?
It's today, the 18th, right?
Today's the 19th.
The 19th. Yeah, it's today. Yeah, definitely today. Better remember to check that out. Now we were talking about Killer Mike.
Kevin Mike.
Yeah, see, I don't know what.
I'm only mentioning him is because I recently saw, this is why I'm only talking about, because I
Right.
recently saw him on Bill Maher, and I know I've
Mhm.
heard of him before through like TV and stuff because he's a big supporter of Bernie Sanders.
Right.
And I remember they asked him what happened, somebody asked him, I remember seeing this, somebody asked him why is he following Bernie Sanders, and because I guess he says that he was smoking and just was looking on at his Twitter feed or some shit like that.
Right.
And I guess he liked what he had to say and started following from there. I know that. And then I recently saw an episode of Bill Maher on Friday that had him on there, Anna Navarro, and I forgot the other guy, and Margaret Cho was also there too. And I like his views. I like some of the stuff that he has to say regarding the stuff that was going on during the week, about the stuff that happened over the Super Bowl and the stuff that's going on with like the candidates and recently. So I liked his views. I liked what he had to say. And
I remember when all of this the campaigning had started and Bernie Sanders' name first popped up as like a serious candidate. I saw this whole, he sat down with Killer Mike and had a dinner, but I don't know what else. I mean, Killer Mike, they say he's a rapper, but I didn't really know him as a rapper. I remember his name popping up during the shooting of that kid in Ohio, the first shooting. I remember his name popping up during that, but I didn't know.
I mean, sadly to say, because I
Who else he did.
don't listen to like
Yeah.
music like that, radio stations or whatever. I'm on a lot of
He's
stuff
old.
with music.
I think he's old.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
he
long
is.
he's been around. You said that he's been around for a while. I don't know artists. I just know like
Right.
songs
Yeah.
nowadays. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I'm just wondering who he is. Because it's funny, a lot of times politicians and these politicals, they'll throw somebody in your face and be like, yeah, look, this guy represents you. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's how
But you said you've heard Killer Mike speak.
I've heard things, here back and forth, but not to the point where I would look at
You
him
never
as like,
you never saw an interview with him or anything like that. Well, because the only
Well,
reason I say
there
because
always
he was on Bill Maher, so he
Right,
he
right.
spoke, and then he was on The View today on the panel, and
Right.
what do you call it? I don't know,
Oh,
some of
okay.
the shit, yeah,
No,
some
because
of
I've
the-
seen him interview, but about specific things, like it was about that kid that got shot.
Mhm.
And his opinion, I don't think his opinion would be different from any other black man or any other minority's opinion on that matter. You know what I mean? And I would imagine his.
Well, I
the
just
same
said,
for
well,
like
what do you
me.
mean? What opinion are you saying?
Well, his opinion, was that
What,
was
what do you think?
wrong.
Like, I mean.
No, his opinion, was that it was wrong, how the police handled it was wrong, and that was pretty much the way everyone felt about it.
Mhm.
That it's basically anyone that it could happen to who feels kind of the same about it. You know what I mean?
But the difference is he's a independent artist, so he doesn't. He doesn't.
Was he the one that they tried to put in jail for some of his lyrics or something?
No, I don't think so.
I know there was an artist for a while that he got famous because he had put out an album and the police didn't like it. They want to put him.
No, that was Ice-T, Cop Killer.
No. It was a recent thing.
Recent?
Recent. Maybe like within the last 2 or 3 years. I'll look into Killer Mike. I don't really, like I said, I've heard his
Look,
name.
I'm not real familiar with him, but with like
Mhm.
through the interviews that I've seen, the stuff that I just seen recently, I really like his views on stuff, and he really has like it's an open-minded view
Right.
on all the subjects. It's not
Right,
just you know, it's not about like, you know, it's just not about black issues. It's not about, you know, women. It's not about, you know, gender and, you know, it affects. I like that he's very broad and he speaks in terms that of how it affects everyone.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
So,
it's
like I
funny.
said, from what
Mhm.
I've heard in his,
Yeah.
you know, in the today and what I've seen on Friday, I really like, you know, his
Yeah.
views on stuff.
Yeah, 'cause I've seen like a lot of people are like, oh, I support, weed, making marijuana legal, and I support this and that. And the thing is, those are little things that are basically
I mean, just saying. In addition, I
byproducts
mean,
of a
yeah,
bigger problem.
yeah. I mean,
You know
someone
what I
that
mean?
says that, I feel
Yeah.
like they're just picking certain,
Yeah.
certain things. I'm just saying in a
Yeah.
whole, as a whole, because he does talk about that shit too. He does, you know what I mean? Like,
Was this the same episode where Bill Maher smoked?
correct?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That was last week. I was like,
Yeah, that's what I said. This is what I
Yeah.
just recently seen, and from what I saw today on The View, like I really
Yeah.
like his like it's just not just one thing. It's a broad, and it's a good. You know what I mean? It's a good balance.
There was actually a good interview floating around with Charlemagne the God. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
That girl Tori was on Tommy Laura, the one who works for Fox, that she made the initial statements that she was outraged at Beyonce, and because of it, they gave her a Donkey of the Day on what is it, 105?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charlemagne's on 105.
No, I'm not.
Right,
I think
yeah,
so. Is
yeah.
he on
I think it's on
105?
Power
Breakfast-
105.
Breakfast
Okay.
Club.
So they gave her Donkey of the Day, and she was insulted, and she had him on, and he was explaining to her, "Oh, your views on this matter are wrong. Sorry to tell you, but they're completely wrong."
Mhm.
And she's harping on, "Oh, Beyonce was, bringing up the Black Panthers, and the Black Panthers were bad, and they were terrorists." And he's like, "That's not even a true fact. You know what I mean? That's nothing." Like, you can't bring up a case of the Black Panthers killing someone. They didn't do that.
And if they did, it was in self-defense.
Yeah, and the Black Panthers were basically, that was like 30, 40 years ago, and you're still harping on it. Like, these problems that Beyonce is talking about are problems that we're having now. But you complain because she's invoking something that happened 30, 40 years ago, and it's ridiculous. It's funny because when you watch the interview, you get the sense of, look, her whole point is, if you're going to complain about something, especially something that's race related, then you should complain about it the way Martin Luther King said you should complain about it. And it should be nonviolent and passive. And I find it funny that the people who are the first to oppress your opinion or your rights or anything else are the first ones to tell you, oh, you can't react
Well, I mean,
violently. You have to react
their whole
peacefully.
thing, the whole, you call it establishment, whatever, is set up on black or minority disempowerment. So if you say anything that's gonna give you like empowerment, they don't want that. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's what it is.
Yeah, I remember saying something, I think I told you about this one time. It was a long time, maybe 20, 30 years ago. I saw it on PBS, and it was a study of how religion, and primarily like Christianity, and when I say Christianity, I mean like Catholic and Protestant and Pentecostal and all that stuff, how it's used as a weapon against people. And it was a guy who was an Indian talking about
Native American.
Native American. He was talking about how it was used to first separate you from your history. They take away your language. Like, the first thing is you don't speak the language of your people, so that you don't have a history anymore. You rely on their history. And then the second step was like you get rid of all your beliefs. Your beliefs become their beliefs, which they don't at any time seem to actually follow. You know what I mean? Like, if you're taking people and you're enslaving them and you're killing them and you're stealing their land and you're giving them smallpox, you're not really following the Bible. But you put this on these people to follow, and this is how you keep a plantation with 60, 70 slaves and a family of 7 people. This is how you keep those 60, 70 slaves from revolting and killing those 5, 6 people in the plantation. You keep them docile, you keep them afraid to react or afraid to do anything. Because it's funny, you'll find that in the places where that religion was co-opted or used to become something else, like in Haiti, where you had, they said they were becoming Catholic, but they were really still
In Haiti,
doing.
you mean in all the islands?
Well, yeah, basically, I'm saying, but you said
I mean,
how it
it
changed.
really has not. It really, it's a mentality. It's a whole because you could use that whole that whatever you call it, that I'm trying to think of a right word for it. Well, that mindset or whatever, that ideology, you can kind of use it in any form, whether it be religion, whether it be politics, whether it be in a business, or you know what I mean. They make you think a certain which way, that you
Right.
adapt to it, and then
Right.
and then that's how. I mean, this
Education.
is everything and everything. I mean, that's how they control everything. That's
Yeah.
how they control the society.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you have a whole bunch of us running around saying racism. This, I'm the, I don't. My rights are this. They violate your rights in any which way. You can fall into any fucking category. Pick a box, any fucking box. As long as you fall in a fucking box.
And the
Anybody,
thing is, they
something.
want
I'm
you-
sorry. The whole thing is control. Whoever
Yes.
the fuck at the time, be it whatever, they're all fucking fighting for control. But as long as all of us are like, sitting here like fucking little sheep, falling into these fucking little boxes and eating the fucking shit that they tell us to eat and all this shit, and then not even questioning it, is why they get the power that they get. In any fucking way, religion, all that shit, they use that
No,
and
I'm
they
saying
manipulate
It's
it.
but it's used as a tool. Like it's one
Correct.
of the tools that they use to keep you in line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I was watching.
Along with the gun.
Well, yeah, but I was watching. Well, remember
Well,
this.
that's why I mean that's
there's
why, that's
rules.
why I mean
Yeah.
like this morning that's what they're saying. The whole thing is as a people we recognize this, we see this, we should do something about it. I mean, this is what they have this voting shit in place and
that's
it's just,
garbage. Yeah, you're
well, something. Put it this way. You put it this way. We need to get together, and that's what I was saying. Like the other day, I had said to you, I keep hearing how this voting. You keep telling me voting is garbage. Your vote doesn't count. This and this and that. Well, what the fuck do you propose that we do then? Like we as people, we see what's going on. We have a right to fucking do something. Why aren't we doing it?
because you don't really have a right to do anything.
You know what I mean?
You don't have a right. When they're
Until put
telling
it this
you-
way, until they tell you, until they fucking put that gun in your face, or they fucking put this literally, so they in your face and tell you don't have that right, bro. You might as well you do something where you're gonna stay shut and not do anything.
Well, no, you. That's when you bring it forward. You talk about it. You do whatever you do. But playing within the system doesn't help. You know what I mean? For people to tell you you have these 4 choices, and those 4 choices are basically garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not helping anything.
Mhm.
If you give me 4 choices that are garbage, and when it breaks down, you really don't have 4 choices. You have 2 choices. And when those 2 choices are basically the same, you don't have a choice.
So then what? Yeah, but then what? I mean,
Well, at this point,
I don't
honestly-
know the Constitution or the laws or anything like that. So what would be the other option
Well-
if none of the candidates, or none of that shit is to your liking? All right, so what's my other option? All right, you don't vote. All right, what's another option besides that?
Well, like I was saying before, they teach you that being passive and fighting within the system that's been put forward.
No, I'm saying unlike on paper.
Hold on,
Well,
hold
what's
on.
the option?
There is no option on paper. There is no option on paper. Really, the only option is for people to stand up, like they do in, like they're doing in Egypt right now, like they're doing in the Ukraine. Really, it's for time for people to rise up. That's really what it is. Nobody likes to say it, but the fact of the matter is,
Like a revolution.
it is at a point
You
in
can't
history
you
right
can't
now.
put everybody in jail.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because it comes to a point where the public really is that there's more people than there are police or government.
Yeah, so at
agencies.
the end of the day,
Right.
we could, something.
That's what needs
If
to
we
happen.
people,
Because
whatever, got together.
if
and
there's a constitution
decided
in
to kick
place
some ass, we could kick some ass.
and that constitution only works for certain people, then there's no constitution in place. It's not right. The same thing with the politics. You have politicians that are they're all talking bullshit. And it's funny because Trump, the fool that he is, Trump just being in the race has shown everyone how ridiculous it is. That this person can come up and just throw everything aside, not saying anything, and make everyone else just look like
I
fools.
don't know.
It's
I just
ridiculous.
feel like this whole campaign shit that from what I'm like seeing, because I actually paid attention for 2 minutes, From what I'm saying, this shit is a whole sham. I feel like
It's
yo
ridiculous.
something
It's always
yeah
been that
something
way.
down something down the line some shit is gonna pop off. I know it.
But that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is
The way shit is going, something's about to pop off, and
it's inevitable. You got white people complaining about the government to the point where they're willing to go to other states and try to take over government lands and fight against the police. It's bad. It's really fucking bad. And it's funny because that's the same thing. Like yesterday, I was watching. Did you see there's some sheriff in Louisiana that they have a problem with some gang over there,
Oh yeah.
and he put out a video basically taunting the gang, like come at us. We'll get. It's basically one gang
Against another.
taunting another gang, and with the police were a bunch of preachers. And again, this is how the religion comes to play. These preachers are sitting there with fucking the nicest, most expensive suits you've ever seen, with the crispy hat, and they're backing the police. And the thing is,
they have one thing that can be that tax exempt.
well, not only that,
Status.
the preacher is really, people look at the preachers like, oh, these guys are for us, they're for the community.
Yeah.
But when the preacher's standing there with the police, they're not for the community. They're afraid to get their shit taken away.
Yeah.
So they're gonna help the police fight. I mean, serious. You got to see the video. It's ridiculous. It's basically
wait. So some preacher decided to.
it's a sheriff.
A sheriff.
Yeah, a sheriff decided he's had enough of a gang. And when they show the pictures of the gang, like the mugshots, it's all
They're
kids. It's all teenagers, weigh about 90 pounds, and you got the steroided up sheriff who thinks he's John Wayne, and a whole sheriff's department behind them, a whole bunch of guys dressed like they're playing soldier. A whole bunch of Louisiana sheriffs playing soldier.
Well, I mean, it is because I used to read a lot of like military books and all this shit. It's the same tactics that they use in Vietnam and El Salvador, whatever. They're using it. The police use it on communities.
His tactics are
The
what?
same exact tactics, like just in general, the same.
Well, what
tactics.
are they doing in this town? This town is where you said?
But right now,
the-
it's Louisiana. It's in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
It's one of the parishes. I think it's like Ward 8 or Ward
Yes.
9.
How many
But-
people are in this parish?
I don't know.
And I'm like, and so the sheriff of this parish,
Has decided they're going to war against.
a gang.
Yeah. A gang.
So-
It's
Yeah.
on.
If you go to WorldStar, it's on
World
WorldStar.
Star, it's on
Yeah.
World Star.
It's unbelievable. It really is. But and it's blatantly like just a gang going up against another gang. And it's really what the police has always been. I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the police was always a gang. Always. They were just a gang that worked for the state and the government and the businesses in the area. The same thing with the fire department. The fire departments were gangs. You know what I mean? The difference is the fire departments actually help people at this point. Police don't even have to do that anymore. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
They do help people, but it's like when you.
Well, no, the Supreme Court ruled that police have no duty.
property.
No, they have no duty to help you or your property. They generate revenue for the city or the commonwealth that they work in, but they have no duty.
Well, yeah,
because,
to protect the municipal,
yeah, and that came across. I think it was like 3 years ago where there was a Russian. You see what I'm saying? You see those cops playing. That's another thing I wonder about. How do actual soldiers feel when these okey doke sheriffs come out dressed up like soldiers with the machine guns and their APVs, and how do actual soldiers feel about that? Because they don't have the same training.
I mean, some do. A lot of the cops are like prior military and they're in the National Guard. So.
And the thing is, the police are not supposed to be.
Wait a minute. So, all right, the pictures I just seen of the gang members.
They're kids, right?
What you call it? I don't know. They look like they could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
What are they? Are they like? What is it that they're doing to this town?
It's a local gang. The police has just had it.
Okay, so you're just issuing a statement to tell these
Well,
gangs
but
that they're
basically,
not
it's,
putting up with it?
they're not following the law of the land.
Yeah, and they're telling them
Meaning
to come
that
at us.
The gang members
Yeah.
are not
Yeah, I
following
mean,
the law?
if you think about it,
What are they doing? Are they
no,
like
but
robbing
look,
places?
if you
or
think
like
about
holding
it,
places or whatever?
a lot of them, maybe they have records. If they have records, they can't get a job. They can't get a job. How do you generate income?
Yeah,
Sell
that's a
drugs or
whole.
whatever. You know what I mean? So they just trying to survive. But I mean, granted, it may not be, you know, what
It plays
the ideal
into
situation.
when you remember last week you were telling me something about the new Jim Beam. Remember that the new Jim Crow.
Oh yeah.
And
The
Jim-
book that my coworker told me to
and
look
basically
into.
one of those laws is how the police go out and they actively look for felonies
Yeah.
for minorities, and right, it looks innocuous, like, but the truth of the matter is, if you arrest me and I have a felony, now I can no longer work for government agencies.
Now you
I
can't
can
vote.
no longer, I can't, if I have a felony on my record.
So okay, let me get this straight. So what I'm seeing here from the caption, I mean, I didn't see the whole video, whatever, because we were already. But from what I see here, basically, he's sending a message to the remaining gang members that they're not putting up with his shit.
Yeah, he's basically telling the gang to come at us. We're ready
They-
for you. He actually says at one point, "We're not afraid of your scrawny ass. Come at me in the field of war."
And the last thing he said was, "I'm not hard to find."
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, his approach is very like rah rah rah, and
Yeah.
clearly he has that ego thing going on, and it doesn't help that he has a badge. But don't we allow this shit that can't, he could be recorded saying this shit, right?
But he recorded himself doing it
Right.
because he don't give a shit. And the thing is,
Okay.
what happened to due process? Where's the court trial?
Well, I don't know. Is anybody
That's what
taking
I'm
him to
saying.
court?
No,
for
I'm
this?
saying this guy is basically saying, "Come at us. We're gonna go to war with you," with a bunch of kids that are gangbangers. There's been no due process. And see, that's the thing.
They're. I'm saying that they've seen. I've seen the ones they've arrested. They're
Right.
sending a message to the ones that they haven't
Right.
gotten, but they're letting them know that they're gonna
Right.
go pursue them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do what Kid Glow. They're gonna go and shoot and people are gonna.
Well, I mean,
die.
him doing this is it's very showboaty.
Yeah,
It's
and the
almost
thing
like
is-
like I said, we entertain this stupidity.
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's-
Donald, we fucking
Yes.
we suck on Donald Cox. Yeah, Donald Trump's cock. We suck
Fucking
on his
love
cock.
it.
We doing all this bullshit. But
Well,
I
people
mean,
eat it up. They eat it up. It's that whole John Wayne mentality. And then the truth of the matter is, John Wayne was a fucking asshole. When you
well,
come
I don't
down
know.
to
I
it-
don't know if it's a John Wayne mentality,
mean?
but I'm just saying clearly he's being showboaty about
Yeah.
it, and he's like kind of puffing his chest and trying to send a message to
Yes.
them. Using the media, I guess. Well, same thing. If he had his own little Twitter account, it was telling them via Twitter, "We're
Yeah.
after you. We're
Well,
gonna
you know what's
chase
funny?
after your ass."
If one of the gang members went on Facebook or Twitter and said the same thing, they get hauled off and put in jail too.
It's an act of terrorism.
Yeah. It's called but that's basically.
I mean,
what
but
it
that's
is.
what we have. That's what we have. Social media for. And when there's been people who are deemed not so bright to do that because ideally, if
Yeah.
you're doing something illegal, whatever, you wouldn't want to flaunt it because you wouldn't want to draw attention to yourself. However, there's people who will fall into the same category who will probably want to be showboaty and be like, "Look,
Yeah.
blah blah blah." I mean, there's people who've done
Yeah.
stupid shit like that. So I just
And
find
at
the
this
whole
point,
thing,
the people are police. And the thing is, do you know
Yeah.
that NYPD?
I'm just saying
has-
to make it a police issue is, you know what I mean, is one thing. I just think in general the whole thing is stupid. It just
It is stupid. But it's stupid. But the thing about it being a police issue is that that's not what police are supposed to do.
Well, yeah, we already know police are not supposed to do a lot of
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they do it. I mean,
And they get away with
you know
it.
what I mean?
You know what I mean? And,
I
and
mean, I'm
see,
not gonna
that's-
sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and get annoyed behind it
No.
or whatever. I understand it happens.
Yeah, like they just did a there was the FBI was investigating the NYPD because remember that whole stop and frisking. A judge told them to stop that shit. It's illegal. Stop it. And they found that in the past year that not only have they not stopped it, they've stepped it up. And they also found that the Civilian Complaint Review Board does not take racist allegations at all serious. They don't investigate them. and the Civilian Complaint Review Board is really run by the NYPD. So anything going there is going to be biased anyway. So it's completely useless. That's what I'm saying. They
So then, so one way around that would be to get rid of all the people who do the voting, right? And then to get rid of you said all the people that support that chair or hold that vote, whatever, are cops.
the thing with that is that you get rid of the person that's there. The next person's just going to do the same shit. Because that's how the system.
Which next person?
Like right now, it's really the mayor that's in control of all this shit. The mayor, the chief of police, they're the ones that are supposed to say, look, this is legal, this is not legal, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're not supposed to do. And this mayor that we have now was basically voted in on stopping the whole stop and frisk shit. It was ridiculous. That and the stupid fucking, stopping the horse and carriage shit, which he tried harder to stop the horse and carriage than he did to stop and frisk. He really did.
What is that?
He made almost no effort to stop and frisk. To the point where stop and frisk right now is way more. And they say not only that, remember that whole thing they said that you have a certain amount of marijuana on you, that you won't get arrested? That's complete bullshit too. If you carry marijuana and they stop you and they find it, you are getting arrested.
It depends on the cop that's arresting you.
Yeah, because that cop
and whether or not he's made
his quota. Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
besides the point. Once again, it falls in his hands. It's up to him whether to decide if he's going to take you in or not.
Well, I mean, is up to him. There's two kinds of cops. One that goes along with the system, and the other one that doesn't. And there's far few that don't.
Once again, yeah, but this was my point. It depends on the cop who stops you. If he's going to take you, if he's either going to take you in or not. It's up to the cop.
Yeah, it's. I see that whole good cop bad thing. I think the good cop thing at this point is a myth, because a person.
Well, it's not, but
it is a person who goes along, like you can't be a good Nazi and a bad Nazi. You can't go along with the shit that's going on and then be like, oh, I knew this was going on. There's no cop that doesn't know bad cops. There are no cops that don't know bad cops. They all know the people who are fucking up, the people who are doing the wrong shit, and they don't say anything. So that automatically makes you a bad cop. Because you're in a position where you're supposed to protect people.
it's called aiding
And
aiding,
you're not,
aiding and abetting.
because the same thing, if I live with you, and you have a house full of fucking coke and all this kind of shit, and I know about it, I'm going to jail too. Even if I don't have nothing to do with it. Because I know about it. That's just how it works. But, for a cop to be like, oh no, there's good cops. There's no fucking good cops. There isn't. You might have
So
you
let
might
me
have a
wait. So all right. So let's say you're dating somebody, great person and everything, but because they're dealing in cocaine activity, you're not gonna date them then.
No. If
they're
you
a cop,
date them,
I'm not dating them.
if you
Huh?
date them,
If they're a cop, I'm not dating. No, but if you're
If
dating
they're
them,
let's say I'm just
No.
saying. Let's say you're not a cop.
right.
No cop. No, just take
Well,
a cop away. If you
here's the
were
thing.
if you were in that same, would you still?
Here's the thing: in dating this person, you may and may not get wrapped up in this shit, and when the time comes for somebody to get arrested, you may or may not be involved. You can't complain about it later. Just like if you're a cop and you know people are doing fucked up shit, but you're not doing anything about it, or you turn a blind eye, you can't say anything when you get wrapped up in it. When people come out and say, "Oh, all cops are bad," you can't say shit about it because you know damn well there's shit going on. That's why
Well,
that
that's
whole
the saying. Nobody's perfect. No. That's almost saying.
nobody's asking.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's
You're not.
asking.
We're not all. I'm not 100% good all the time. I'm not 100% bad all the time either.
But nobody's asking anybody
You know
to be
what I mean?
perfect. They're just asking people to do what they say they're gonna
do your job.
You know what I mean? Like you have a job.
So in
that
other words,
job
if they're just
has-
doing their jobs and doing their jobs legitimately,
there shouldn't be a problem.
correct?
But they're not,
Because
they're worrying more about making money for the police department. They're worrying more about making quotas. They don't give a shit that they're fucking destroying people's lives. Did you know that there's a whole thing where the police go to arrest you and they don't have anything. They put an it's obstructing justice or resisting arrest, and they're trying to make obstructing justice and resisting arrest. Like, for you to get arrested solely for resisting arrest, it's fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense. It means a cop walked up to you and just grabbed you to arrest you. It's kidnapping. Now, if you were, like, say you were dealing drugs in the corner and the cop went to stop you and you ran, that's a resisting arrest. That's genuine resisting arrest. You resisted being arrested for a crime. But for them to snatch you up and just say, oh,
I thought resisting arrest meant you're under arrest. After they tell you you're under arrest, I thought resisting arrest meant like when you say like no, that's when you either verbally tell them no or you physically or you're
No.
physically resisting arrest.
No, now resisting
because
arrest
because the truth is, I
a
mean,
charge in itself.
if we're having a conversation, we're having a conversation. At no point in time did you let me know I was under arrest. So therefore, how can I resist arrest?
That's how it's supposed to be.
I'm sorry.
But now they're arresting people out of the blue, and that's a charge, resisting arrest. And they're trying to make that into a felony.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they can just go and arrest someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? See, under that book, the new Jim Crow laws and the new studies on the new Jim Crow laws, the whole thing behind that is supposed to be minorities are not supposed to get good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they give you a felony, and that felony keeps you from getting decent jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it easier when that felony, see, they're talking about this now, making resisting arrest a felony. Because of course we're getting to that point where marijuana and, you know, stupid shit like that is not gonna be illegal anymore. So once they take away that weapon for them to arrest you for, now they have a new thing, resisting arrest, which is ridiculous. For anyone to be, I don't know how lawyers can't fight this in court. For you to be arrested and the only charge put on you is resisting arrest makes no sense at all.
Well, the at least not the court-appointed lawyers, because it's not in their.
No, court-appointed lawyers don't even try. If you ever get arrested, I say this to anybody in the world, if you ever get arrested, especially if you are not guilty of what you are being arrested for, get a lawyer. Because a court-appointed lawyer, it is not in their best interest. No, first of all, they can't help you. They don't have the time or the resources to help you. They always look to make a deal and get out of this as quick as they can. Most times them seeing, and I know this from experience, most times them seeing your court file, as the first time they see your file and the information on your case is when they're walking into the court to defend you. And they're looking to make a deal. Never do it.
Well, I mean,
never do it. You get a fucking lawyer.
they do like a brief interview, very brief. And
Not always.
Not always, but when they do, it's like, okay, next, and it's like.
Because the last time C got arrested, they had him in the court over the weekend, and they do that shit where they do it just to fuck with you. They arrest you on a Friday and they keep you in there till Monday, and then on Monday the court-appointed lawyer walked in, and he had never met the person. The person went in, made a deal and everything without even telling him, and he had to go by that deal, which was ridiculous. It was completely ridiculous because this is a person
Wait,
that
who had to go by the deal?
C.
Why?
Because the court-appointed lawyer went before the judge and put this deal up, and the judge said, yeah, fine.
But he didn't tell
He
him.
never spoke to him or anything. And he went to the judge and said, look, I didn't meet this lawyer. I don't know anything about this lawyer. I don't want this. They told him it's done already. You have to leave.
Mhm.
You leave, or they're gonna put you in contempt of court, and you're gonna spend more time in jail. It was completely ridiculous.
Mhm.
And this actually happened.
Mhm.
And the other thing about getting a lawyer is that if you don't have a lawyer, they will keep you in holding or on Rikers Island for months and months, and sometimes years, awaiting your trial. They don't fucking care how long you sit in jail. Tell you even if you can't afford it, scrounge money together, beg, borrow, do what you gotta do, get a fucking lawyer. You need a lawyer, because you will get railroaded. And it's funny because a lot of people look at it like, oh, what could happen? And there's a lot of people in jail on stupid shit.
Well, I just think everything's very shuffled. So, to call it, if you don't have money
Yes.
to really kind of like fix your way out of it,
Yeah.
you get stuck with whatever
Yeah.
shit they shovel.
Yeah. Money always gets you pushed to the front of the line. And it's funny with a lawyer. You're
Well, the
gonna
way
pay,
I mean, this is the way the system is handled. The way the
Yeah.
system is, they shuffle everybody along, and it's like a cattle
Yeah,
herd.
and that's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean?
That's
But
exactly what it is.
I think it's a whole mentality that comes with it,
You know,
and it's
and
adapted.
it's when you have, and then, you know, it's funny, they talk about how Native Americans put on reservations and how terrible it is. Remember, they also, a lot of minorities get stuck in projects and
Projects, yeah.
things like this. It's pretty much the same thing.
It's the same.
Aside from the fact that you have running water, which may or may not be good, that's a whole Michigan. There's a Flint, Michigan, with their what is it, lead-filled water.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And aside from that, you're basically on a reservation. You're in an area that's closed in that they can keep an eye on you. You walk into housing and it's cameras everywhere, cops everywhere watching you. They have little precincts in there. They put the towers up, and you go and you put a whole bunch of people who are maligned in one area, and you wonder why they act out. That's what happens. You know, you can't treat people like animals and expect them not to act like animals. You can't. You know, it's ridiculous. Can you rise above it? Oh yeah, of course you can. Everybody can. But at some point, you are going to be reminded that you belong in a certain area. You don't belong
Yeah.
here. I was reading earlier this week. I was reading too. There was a lot of like with the whole Beyonce thing. There was a lot of people. It's a great article in Gawker.
I don't. You
all
know,
those
it's so funny.
people.
I don't understand what the whole fucking thing with that Beyonce shit is. That shit is totally fucking asinine.
It
Totally
is.
fucking
That's
retarded.
that.
It's
that,
such a fucking
that-
waste of time
that-
to even fucking talk about it.
Well,
It's
no,
such a
it
waste of.
isn't.
I'm sorry.
no,
I'm sorry. It's
no,
a
look.
waste of fucking time to talk
No,
about that.
no.
It's a
No,
fucking
listen,
video
this-
for
this-
fuck's sake.
This
No,
is
no.
what
You know
it
what I
is.
mean? People. You know what's so? Are you that bored? Are you that? Are you that bored with your life that you ain't got nothing fucking better else to do but just to create some fucking bullshit?
That's
Yo,
what I'm
people,
saying.
you have nothing else to do but just you're creating nonsense.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to talk about, but now you're making shit up.
It's a
Yeah.
3-card.
You're
Monty.
looking for shit.
And the thing
No,
is, the
because
anger.
The thing.
Yo, they're
that I
trying.
said-
Yo, they know
the
what's so
thing that I
funny.
said
They're
in the
trying.
beginning.
Yeah, once again, it's the media trying to distract you. Why? Because they want to ensure you're fucking bend over when they go ahead and they fuck you in the ass with no Vaseline. I feel like this whole fucking bullshit is just smoke and mirrors for something else. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Fuck that shit. I don't have nothing against Beyonce or nothing
Well,
like that, but just
it's a-
that whole fucking subject, that whole thing is bullshit. It's total fucking
No, this
bullshit.
is-
Well, here's
what
the
it is.
problem. Like, Beyonce has a concert, I believe, this weekend in Miami, and the Miami police
Yeah,
have
the cops know.
refused to, of course, work the concert, which is fine. She can get her own security. But the whole thing about it is that, like I said, they want you to work within the system to make things better. But the fact of the matter is, this entire shit started because she made a statement. You know, stop fucking killing unarmed people.
She made a lot of fucking
You know what I'm
statements.
saying?
Dude, she made
The
a
thing
no.
is-
You're specifically picking one. She made a lot of fucking statements in
No,
her
no, no,
goddamn
no.
song. Okay,
But
people. That's what I'm saying. Once again, people are looking for specific shit to
Well,
fucking tack on. That's all. That's
the
I'm
thing
sorry. That's
that
all
the
that. That's all
police
that is.
have a problem with is that she's bringing forward people are getting tired of being killed for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you, in a country where you're supposed to have free speech, and as a matter of their fucking graduation and becoming cops, they're supposed to defend your freedom of expression, which is Constitution. That's your First Amendment right. But the whole shit is now they're upset because you had dared to say something. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say. It's like a doctor. It's like a doctor working on a fucking KKK person. They don't get to sit there and say, "Oh, this guy's KKK. I'm not gonna fucking fix him." No, you gotta fucking fix him. It's your job.
You said who?
They have to do it.
You
It's
got a
their
choice. You got a
job.
choice. You got a
You
choice.
don't have a choice.
Look, what I'm trying to say is that you have a choice. Everybody has an opinion. You can say whatever the fuck it is you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say
you
clearly
can.
because that's the fucking platform that we have.
Right.
Well, so they tell us.
Until you
yeah.
say something they don't agree
What you
with.
call it? Clearly, because the girl's just doing a fucking video and she's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
taking
yeah.
snippets of what the fuck she sees going on in her fucking whatever. And
Yeah.
she's expressing it through her music and video, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's the
Or,
problem.
you know what I mean? She goes, no, that's not a problem.
listen,
that's a
that's
fucking
their-
right.
that's a
Listen,
problem
no,
with
listen.
them.
No,
listen.
that's your fucking problem.
The song's name
You know what
is
I mean?
Formation. What is that? Let's come together. That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't want.
They-
Look,
they
they-
don't-
That's
Yeah.
look, once again, that's a person's problem.
No,
The girl
that's
that's
the system's problem.
the people the people who
The
are
system.
the people who are pointing that specific thing, it's a system based thought concept. What I'm saying, and to your point,
No, it's physical. It's actual.
she's telling everybody to get into formation.
No, listen. The song is Formation.
Mhm.
The visual is people in formation.
Mhm.
The thought is formation, and the message is let's get in formation. Now listen, the system
Mhm.
sees this, and this is bad for the system.
Mhm.
What is the system? The system is racism,
Mhm.
and
Well,
racism.
the
You
number
see,
one.
the people
the
who are
number one
in other words,
complaint-
just wait. The people who are seeing it like that are people who are racist.
The system.
Well,
The
they
system.
don't.
Those
the
racist. I'm
media,
sorry. A racist
law
system.
enforcement,
Okay, so a racist system.
Media, law enforcement,
Mhm.
the people that fund these
Okay, once
organizations,
again, those are the
the
people who
people
are
that
specifically
write the
targeting that.
laws. Yes. No.
Okay.
Yeah. The system.
The system, the people in the system who think this way.
The system. Is many areas. It's law. Is media. Is
Yeah, but people are in these positions. What I'm saying, those people who have that same type of mentality, that system mentality,
Yeah.
slash racist or racist
If
mentality.
somebody steps out of
that
line,
system.
they
Well,
kick
that,
them
well,
out,
that's
they get
the
somebody.
point that I'm trying to say. That once again, if you're thinking to your point, that mentality, that's what you're gonna go, and that's what you're gonna harp on. That's what the whole reason we're having this discussion is because people are pulling on that.
Well, not only that, but the script is laid out before you. You have to think this, and you
Mhm.
have to say this on television, and you have to. You don't want to do it, right? Get out. We got somebody else that's gonna.
The whole, it's funny because the whole thing, like most people who wrote, remember I showed you the Gawker article where they showed like people writing different things. The consensus seems to be, how dare you threaten to come together? That's what it was. Like, how dare you threaten to come together and rise up, or how dare you invoke? Because when you say, it's funny, when you say Black Panthers, the people who are afraid of Black Panthers, that's what they think of. They think of this black militaristic army coming to get you, which is not what the fucking Black Panthers.
Well, they're not informed.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're acting. That's what I'm saying with the police too. Like, I saw an article talking about 2 police who were killed by Black Panthers on one, up by the Polo Grounds. This was years ago. The thing was, if you actually look into that article, it wasn't the Black Panthers that killed that person. It was that Black Liberation Army, which was basically, it was a gang. It wasn't the Black Panthers. But they put that sense
Yeah, that's misinformed.
on the Black Panthers, and people take it as law. And then the person who's writing these things, complaining about them, is actually a cop who works at the precinct. The thing is, you work at the precinct, you've got the plaque there of
But
who
I'm
was
sure
killed.
that other people who are writing this, writing stuff that counter, that fucking countered the incident.
They don't.
Like, in other words, put it this: the same way as you have somebody that's writing for it, there should be also people that's writing against it.
That's what they're doing.
You know what I mean?
You don't find
It's whether
people like
whether people are really pushing that, also
That's-
into the
that's-
front. Because
yeah.
look, at the end of the day, yeah, we have this, you have all of it. You have racists, you have non-racists, you have everybody, you know what I mean, in the mix. It's just what's being pushed in front of your face
No,
and gets
yeah.
getting attention.
That's
When-
the racist.
Yeah, but that's because people, what's so funny? Because people want to keep giving. You know something. One of the things that, and I agree, it's something that has to be looked at because unfortunately, this is how the world has been. You know what I mean? We made it. We put that shit. We inject that shit. Even to the point we're having a conversation right now and we're talking about it. So it's in everything that we do.
And you know what the funny thing is, though?
It's so funny. You have to not get. It has to come a point that you have to stop giving it importance at the same time, because at the end of the day, it needs to stop.
The funny thing about it is that what a lot of these, especially a lot of these people who are racist and poor, and they're in the same boat everyone else is. What they don't understand is they're also being
Because it's a
separated.
mentality.
Yeah,
It,
they're
because
being
once again, it goes
herded.
back to what we were saying in the beginning. It's a type of
They-
mentality. You put that system in anything,
But it's what you're
and
taught.
this is what you have.
Well, it's what you're taught.
You know what I
So,
mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
School
at the same
and-
time, but we're 3 people individual. We're aware of that shit, so you unteach that shit.
Well, you try.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
three
this,
people.
Well, yeah, well, you
many?
know something that's 3 people. I mean, we're not the only motherfuckers that think like that. There's other people that are fucking out there. You know what I mean? Who probably feel the same way. I mean, look, it's not a super wave of a movement, but the
No.
truth is like, yo, people need to wake the fuck up.
yeah. Did you see this whole thing with off the subject, the thing with Apple,
Yeah.
where
No.
the FBI is trying.
Oh, about
to,
the cracking of the phone shit.
Yeah, FBI, and Apple was like, no, they want Apple to write a special software just so that they can crack that phone. And they're saying, oh, we won't use it on all the phones. We're just using it on this phone, which is complete bullshit. And to the point where Tim Cook, every time I say Tim Cook, I think of the guy from Sam Adams. But Tim Cook is, yeah, he's the guy who's in control of Apple, the new guy. But there's the name of the guy who does Sam Adams videos, also Tim Cook. Yeah, I know. I always get confused. Anyway, he was like, no, we can't do that. It's a slippery slope. You can't unlock one phone because there's always going to be a reason for you to fucking unlock another phone. And it's funny because the FBI.
Well, like, you know, is that an ethic or was it ethics and moral or some shit? Like, well, think about it, because the truth is, it's like you give somebody that power. Now, okay, here's a gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can only use it for this one thing. You can't use it for anything else. So you're like,
Well, not only that, they
oh God,
when it
you know
comes-
what I mean? Like, not
when
for
it
nothing.
comes to FBI and police, they have a long history of already fucking doing shit like that.
Never mind that shit. Just
No,
in
no, no.
general, you give somebody that, you know what I mean, that power. It's
No,
just
no,
like,
but the
what do
thing
you
is,
do with it? Of
they-
course they're gonna use it again.
They've never said
They
were gonna do
nosy.
it.
They want to know this shit.
The police is pushing to the point where they had to go to a judge to get a warrant to do it, and they're
Well,
still
because
like,
they
we're
have
not
to go
doing
look at they have to, wait a minute, let's go back to the books to see what our rights are, to see what we can do
it.
in
And the
this.
thing is, they were busted using those Stingray trucks to listen to random phone calls around. the
No,
city.
you know what's hilarious? The one thing that they need to, and it's so funny because my understanding is like, because it's the guy, the shooters, right?
And you know,
The shooter's
they
phone.
don't need to unlock that fucking
You call
phone.
it. I mean, I'm sure they can get stuff off their computers or if they
They just
confiscate
want,
stuff like
they
that.
just want that.
You know
kind
what I mean? And in all fairness, they don't really need to. They don't
No.
really need to bother Apple with that nonsense because they could totally get somebody that knows their shit. They
Well,
can totally.
McAfee.
You
has
put it this
said-
way: you
saw it?
could you could just find somebody. They
Well,
can
the
they
McAfee,
do that now. They
No.
hire those people.
the
to fucking go
McAfee
in.
guy has said that he'll do it. He'll come in and. But the thing is, the McAfee guy is wanted by the FBI and the
Yeah,
police.
yeah.
So he's working a deal. Because he
Well,
was.
put it this way: I have a feeling that phone is
John
gonna get
McAfee.
cracked sooner
Well,
versus
there's
than later.
software you can
Yeah,
get.
it's
There's
not
software
that.
out there you can get to. You don't even have to buy the fucking software. You can download like a trial.
I feel like this is
and
some
open
bullshit.
it.
I think they're just trying to
They're trying to make it
fuck
so
with
that
they're trying to fuck
yeah.
with Apple or whatever.
Well, they're trying to make it so that they can strong on the company into giving them the means.
they don't
to get into
they
any
don't
phone.
have to do that. That's not, that's
Anything.
some type of publicity
Android
stunt
said
or
it too.
whatever.
Android was like, they
that's
tried to
not
make
needed.
it a law where they tried to make it where it was illegal to encrypt your phone. Like they want to make it in New York State that it was illegal to sell phones that are encrypted
Mhm.
because if they arrest you for something, they want to be able to look on your phone. This is what they were doing for a while. Like if you went to visit someone in prison, they would connect your phone because you can't bring your phones in. You
Yeah.
would give it to them. They would connect it to a machine. They would download all of your lists, and then these are all people that they keep track of.
Mhm.
And that's really fucking slippery slope shit. Because that's
Well,
your
that's
personal
invasion of
information.
Slippery
that's
slope,
invasion
that's
of
a-
privacy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
straight
goes
up.
against all your amendments and all that bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And then the Stingray, like if you look here, they
I think
usually
that's
have
so
one
that's so
part.
stupid that they're fucking putting that shit in the media because the reality is they could so totally find that shit on their own. They don't really need to fucking bother Apple with that nonsense.
Well, the problem with the new encryption is what they usually do is something called.
No, what I'm trying to say,
No,
whether
no, no.
encryption or not, for it to be
No,
a
no, no,
media
no.
thing, is some bullshit.
No. The problem that fucked them up is they usually do something that's called brute force, where they just throw fucking thousands of passwords at you. But with the new Apple phone, after
10
after
tries,
10 tries,
yeah.
it erases everything.
It's like
And
this
they
phone
can't-
will self-destruct.
Yeah, and they can't brute force it. That's the problem. So that's that's how they work. Brute force is everything, and they can't brute force it. So now they want Apple something. Apple's like, fuck it, we're not doing it. Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that
They'll
Apple
figure it out.
just
I'm
said,
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I don't think they will. I don't think as far as the Apple thing goes, like if it was an Android phone, they could. It's not hard to get into an Android phone, but with the Apple phones, they're fucked. They're gonna lose. And the thing is, they don't need that information. They know those people shot up, whoever they shot up. It's an open and closed case. They don't need to know who their friends were and all that shit.
Look, I don't know. I'm not an investigator. I'm not one to
It's
talk or
extra
whatever,
shit.
blah blah blah. But if they really want to find out the fucking information, they should. They don't need to really advertise it or fucking
Yeah,
put
they
it in
don't
the
need-
media.
they don't need
That's
the phone
that's
for
not
that.
necessary.
Nah, they don't need the phone. I put
It's not
fucking.
necessary.
I put the 64-bit encryption on my phone. I'm like, fuck, you want shit? You want to look through my shit? You gotta earn it. There's nothing there. But if you really, really want to be that goddamn nosy and see asshole pics, you work for it. Earn that shit. I didn't need nobody hacking through my fucking phone. That's damn. My nose is like mad stuff. You know, all week I've been looking at. He was laughing because he came in. I told him I was watching the colonic videos. I want to have fucking colonic done. I was watching colonic videos. I was watching like the nasal, like last night with my son we were watching.
Oh, the neti pot ones.
The neti pot ones, yeah, like with the little kid that it comes out a lot.
I
was
mean, all
watching-
it does is just.
Yeah, but if you have a really bad nasal infection, it can help take a lot of that shit out.
You know what's?
The
I've
bacteria.
I've done that stuff.
Yeah.
I've even done the
I know.
colonics and stuff, and it's like I told you, I thought like, oh, I probably have like really bad. No, not as. No. If you, I think if you're a person who's going to the bathroom regularly, your system should be good.
Yeah, my shit's all fucked up.
Oh, why you backed up?
No, I'm like a goddamn faucet, but it's like a faucet that shoots out crushed up Oreos for some reason. It's gross. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You should tell your doctor then that your stool
It's
is
not
not
right.
healthy.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
healthy
right.
stool because you
And
may.
it's the change in
you know-
diet. Remember, I went from
Well, not
carbs
only.
to just protein.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you eat out a lot and stuff, you also there may be there's all the bacteria and stuff that could live inside your intestines and your
Yeah.
stomach that could be affecting it.
No, I
You
made
may
the-
you may just need some healthier bacteria. You should try taking a probiotic first
Yeah.
to see.
Yogi.
Yeah. so
No, I took no. The problem is that I've gone from I completely took the carbs out, so I'm eating just the protein, and my body's like, fucking carbs, and when I go to the bathroom, it's like a faucet. It's fucking terrible.
Well, you do need
I would say,
carbs.
For the
yeah,
past-
I
the
mean-
last
You
week
do
has
need-
been. Well, I can have like
It's
a
not
day.
hot.
Like I can have a cup. That's like a cup of rice or a cup,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
but I'm saying if you have
has to be a
loose
cup.
stool, that's not
Loose is
it
not
doesn't-
even the word. That shit
Yeah,
is like
you should
atomized.
you should not be having liquidy stool.
Yeah, it's like
period.
a spray bottle.
I would try to do a probiotic first just to get some healthy bacteria in your system.
Fiber. No,
Yeah, and then just eat vegetables and stuff.
Yeah. I mean that's not helping. It's just the fucking carbs bullshit. Carbs are so delicious. Fucking carbs.
I mean, you need carbohydrates.
Yeah. Well, I don't need them now. I've had enough for a while. I got carb backlogs and shit. Literally. So I can take a break, but yeah. You do miss them when you don't fucking have. What was I gonna say? I'm gonna try. I was thinking about for the podcast, like we can shoot in like an hour, but break it up so that it's 2 half-hour segments or something. Like maybe if it's shorter, you'd probably get more plays. See, I don't know.
I was about to say you should probably hashtag it up if
Well,
people
I-
are doing searches and stuff.
I have
like
been doing
and-
that. Yeah, I've been that I've been doing. I've been putting a lot of in
So,
the.
I mean,
Hashtag Beyonce bullshit.
Yeah,
Well,
bullshit.
that's what I
Yeah,
put.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I put
yeah.
on the SoundCloud
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I've been adding the hashtags to it and everything, to cover like everything that we've gone in there with. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm not sure if I mean I hate to fucking just
You
talk
know
about
something? You
something
should
for
check.
half an hour.
You should
know what I
check.
mean?
You should check out. You should really check out the Killer Mike thing on Bill Maher and the after thing. The after Bill Maher he has
Yeah, like
overtime
2
with
minutes
yeah.
It's 2 minutes. That's it.
No,
Oh, I thought.
Really?
It was
No, it was a couple of minutes. It's
I
more
thought-
than
yeah,
Yeah,
a few
most of
minutes.
them are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Well, the one with Mike was at least like it was like almost a little under 10 minutes or some shit like that. It wasn't that. It was more than 2 minutes.
I want to see one where they're smoking.
They smoke at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
They light up like you know
Why
Bill
they
Maher
done in
like,
California?
Bill Maher does his
Yeah, isn't
shit at
it
the
legal in
end.
California?
It's not, but if you have the
card, the medical card.
Yeah,
You go like, well,
you can stub your foot and say, oh shit, I need a medical marijuana.
to go like, basically at the end, you know, of his show, you know, he does his whatever, and then you know he just lights up, and then you know he passes it over to Killer Mike, and then when they go into overtime, you know, Margaret Cho is there, and they're just going back and forth, and Killer Mike is just talking about like the whole marijuana thing, and then they talk about other stuff.
Have you heard about the blue woman? I keep hearing about this, the blue goddess and DMT. Have you heard about that? It's a blue woman that people keep saying that they see when they take DMT, and it's like it's completely right. Like a lot of people that take it keep seeing this person.
I was like, what is it? Is it like a Hindu god?
It's like a
When
goddess
you
or something.
well, at least ayahuasca, like when it first,
Kali, that's what they
Awesome.
call her, Kali.
it's definitely it's like mushrooms. I say is like from space, and ayahuasca or DMT, whatever, is like the earth. Like,
Really? That's how you see it? You felt like mushrooms is
But
from
they've
space?
said that it is mushrooms have that what's his name, McKenna?
yeah.
He said they came on like an asteroid or a comet. Like we do get a lot of plant life like that. Like it'll come
Yeah.
off from something else.
Mhm.
But like just my
And
my
Mushrooms are a life form
Experience,
to on
yeah.
their own. Like they have their own, lifespans. that
most
live
most
on-
of our we're more like fungus than
Well,
anything
yeah.
else. It's like a big fucking
Mm.
walking fungus. But yeah, like the ayahuasca or DMT is, we say like it's the
Well, in the Amazon, they say that ayahuasca is they call it the goddess.
goddess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what a lot of times, like you see, you don't see it, but it's like somebody saying, all right.
I say
Yeah,
This
you
is
right.
the
You
Hindu
should
goddess. That's how the blue goddess. I know
check
is
out-
the Hindu goddess.
That's
that podcast was something about Through the Rabbit Hole. It's a short one. It's like 40 minutes, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about a lot of crazy shit, but they talk a lot of like the DMT and the ayahuasca and using, they talk about the chakras and opening them up and opening
Mhm.
up the third eyes and shit like that.
Mhm.
It's pretty interesting. A lot of stuff to say, and then they go off into these like weird tangents. But that's pretty good. It's a pretty good podcast. I like that one a lot.
Like just one what do you call it?
I don't know
Like,
if I'm willing to do like a whole 4 to 6 hour trip.
It's not
8
it's
minutes
not
is good for me.
like you like we're talking like you're normal. You're not.
Yeah.
It's weird, but like
See, you know what's so weird? Because I've been on mushrooms, and I've been say it depends on how much you eat as well. Because I've had mushrooms and I've functioned
Not me.
throughout my day. Well, once again, depending on how much you eat, how much you consume.
No. I didn't know what the fuck. We saw a movie. I still don't remember what movie you fucking saw that day. I don't know what the
you
fuck.
probably had a lot.
I know that we
And
walked through the
what-
seats.
if
we walked
that-
through the
that was
sit
your
downs
first
and seats,
time-
and I plowed through fucking people. All I remember is like when we started, I was watching Mr. Mom, and at the end, I was watching Tyson bite somebody's ear off, and I didn't know what the fuck he was.
Was that was your first time?
That was like the second time.
Is it?
Yes, the Tyson fight was the second time. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. You know, I'm
That's the
trying
time
to
I left you
remember.
in the park. Remember, and the homeless guy was staring on the swings.
I think that was the same day.
No, it wasn't because the first time we went to the movies. Yeah, I didn't get home till like later.
No, I just remember the time that we ate them, and yeah, Mr. Jacola, this was in my living room, Jacola, because it was still summertime, and Mr. Mom was on, and we went for a
Keaton.
walk.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went to. It was on cable. It was on TV. It was like on cable.
we went to a
Shit like
Baskin
that.
Robbins and bought ice cream.
It wasn't Baskin Robbins. You're confusing the Bronx with Manhattan, bro.
Don't lie.
There's no fucking Baskin. There's no fucking Baskin Robbins
What
in
was
fucking
it?
Manhattan.
Well,
it was,
anyway,
it
I
was fucking
remember-
Haagen-Dazs.
Nah, bro.
I paid.
Look.
I
This
paid
is
the
what-
guy
Look, this is
the
what.
coins, and I saw the coins go right through his hand. I was like, what the fuck?
It went from my house. It went from my house, right? And then we ended up we ended up to the park. We ended up at the park, and then for some reason I was on the swings, and he was having difficulty with the swings. And I know, like, I don't know. It was a good something minutes later. I just looked, and he was gone. I was just like, what happened? So, and apparently you said you went off to you said you went off into the train station.
Yeah.
That was the night of the fight.
Did you see the X-Files?
Oh yeah, I was telling her about that.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta see it.
So the episode was just played out the same way I just said it.
When you watch it, just think of him.
I'm telling you, it was just like that. It's funny because when I sat in the train, I remember like Star Wars when they go to Millennium Falcon and they go into warp and they come out. It was like that. Like I sat down in the chair and it was like. Zzz.
The lights, all of a sudden the lights go like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, oh fuck! And then I went home and I fell asleep for like an hour or something. And then when I woke up, it was the Tyson fight where he bites Holyfield's ear.
And you're like, I'm still hot.
Yeah, I thought I was still messed up. I was like, oh shit, I gotta go back to sleep. Oh,
Sleep it off,
cold.
sleep it off.
It was terrible. I remember that shit. I was like, I'm not doing this again. So 8 minutes is good for me. I'm not doing
No,
this.
it's like
4 or 5
anything.
hours,
The next, you're better at navigating.
Yeah.
You gotta do it during a podcast and see what happens.
I know, that
That
would be hilarious.
The worst podcast.
I mean,
Long silent moments. It was like, oh.
No.
No, not really. See, you were silent.
Not ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is different.
Nah.
I don't
It
want.
is.
I don't need
It's
it.
different, but it's the same. You don't throw up the whole time.
No, who says you throw up the whole time?
It just takes so long. I want immediate. I want now.
No, it's not. There's one guy's, this Mexican kid is in Georgia. Like he was like, when does this end? And I was like, I told him maybe like 2-3 more hours. And he just sat down. He's like, get me out of this. I'm like, hey man.
I know, right?
See, that's why I don't want to.
No, there was one time I remember I had taken it with my I had tripped with my friend's cousin, and we were sitting at I told you we were sitting at his dining room table eating with his parents, and the thing was is it's like, you know, normally when you take that stuff, it doesn't make you hungry. It doesn't make you hungry at all, but we had smoked a little weed behind it, so I would have munch. So by then we had kind of munchies. But when we sat down at the table, the food, I remember at the time, I don't know, for some reason Silence of the Lambs was like on cable or whatever, right? And then I was looking at the food on the table, and I remember I was hungry, and I was eating the peppers and steak. I'm like, oh, this is so good, but I'm like, damn, the meat tastes kind of different. I'm like, I've never had beef like this, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's the mushrooms, because it tasted like earthy, like gamey, right? And then when his grandma says that, oh, it's lamb, I was like, lamb, and then all of a sudden I heard man. I looked at my plate. The pieces of meat had little eyeballs, and it was like the worst eyeballs because the lamb eyeballs, like the googly ones. So I was like, oh shit! And I remember I'm like, Carl, yo, my food is moving. And it was just like, just drink something. And when I went to go, drink the seltzer, it was like pew pew, do like a little fire or something at the cup. I was like, oh. It was an interesting dinner. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a lot of visuals, and it depends. It depends on like what your state of mind is. And I'm very.
I want to try the DMT. I want to do the little 8-minute things and be like what it was like. When you saw it.
Can you do DMT in 8 minutes?
Yeah, it's like an 8 to 10 minute thing, and then when it stops, you come
So we
down
do a
real
whole
quick.
podcast of.
But they say it doesn't feel like 8 to 10 minutes, but.
Alright, so we do an 8-minute podcast, like Tony on
A little
DMT,
quick one?
a quick one. Tony on DMT.
I'm telling you gotta try it. All right, we gotta stop wrapping up.
Like,
Coming
I told
soon.
you next time we should do like
It'll
a
be-
picnic in the park. We should have like wine.
It'll be like a
cheese.
live one. Do the live one on the computer. I can't stop. I can't turn it off.
You could do it with the camera live.
Yeah. That's how I did the video game one. You can also do Google Plus, the Google Spot. You ever seen Google Hotspots? It's everybody has the same thing and everybody has a camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom you
Yeah,
see the
you can line
different
them up.
people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or you can focus on a certain person. It's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna start.
Alright.
This should be up when they see it, it'll be up. But I'll put it on SoundCloud and iTunes right away, and then I'll work towards getting it on YouTube.
Have a good weekend and a good week, everybody.
Catch us next week and subscribe later. That actually came out pretty